Before we get into this recap of part 1 of season 3 of Dr. Stone, make sure to check out my season 1 and 2 recaps. That'll lead perfectly into this one. With that being said, let's get into the recap. The Kingdom of Science hosts a mini competition to decide which ship design they will build to take them across the world. Let's not waste any time. Senku wins.
Yo, what the f is that ship?
As they begin the laborious task of building the monumental ship, they must first find a key ingredient: a captain. Senku recruits the Tsukasa-loving reporter Minami Hokutozai to find him a captain capable of navigating a long and dangerous journey on sea. They end up providing Ryusui Nanami, the former prodigal son of the Nanami conglomerate, whose skills on the water are matched only by his self-indulgence. After Ryusui is caught up to speed on their mission, he demands oil if they are going to have any chance of making it across the world in one piece. Senku is prepared for his demand, and already has a spot in mind within Japan, the Sagara oil fields, and the expedition team set off in search of it. Ryusui, in return for taking them across the world, demands ownership of the oil field once they find it, but is willing to sell them the oil to fuel their journey.
What a generous cunt.
Thus, he brings currency back into the world, calling it Drago, and the Kingdom of Science begin hoarding it to buy the oil from the spoiled brat. The expedition team failed to find the oil field where Senku pointed them to, as the science user failed to take into account just how long 3,700 years is, and how much the landscape has changed. So, they discard all their knowledge of geography, and set out to make a new map of the region. Before they take to the seas, they must take to the skies. Senku shares the shortest roadmap yet to making a hot air balloon, and the Kingdom of Science band together to make cloth. A lot of cloth.
Hey, at least they got some dapper clothes out of it.
If you want to learn how to make a hot air balloon, watch this section. If you die trying, well, don't blame me. With the balloon completed, they draw lots to determine the two accompanying Senku on humanity's first ticket to the skies in thousands of years. Gen tricks the scummy Ryusui into piloting for free, then Chrome luckily wins the final slot. So, they take off, amazing every member of the Kingdom of Science, who could only ever dream of flying themselves, and the experience even brings tears to Chrome's eyes. With Chrome's unique thinking, Senku's knowledge, and Ryusui's navigation skills, they make it through the huge cumulonimbus cloud blocking their way to Ishigami Village.
They used the last of the revival fluid, though.
So, Senku returns to Ishigami Village for the first time since defeating the Tsukasa Empire, and he recruits Kohaku and her impeccable vision to help map out the New World. Once they find wheat, they are able to re-establish the age of agriculture, though their first batch of bread leaves a lot to be desired for the moderners. To make up for their lack of culinary skills, they revive Ryusui's butler Francois, who doesn't waste a second in attending to their former master's desire: gourmet bread that'll last throughout their voyage at sea. Once Francois wows everyone with their bread, Minami awaits her promised reward for giving up the last revival fluid she had saved up in order to revive them. Thus, the camera is reinvented, and the journalist begins recording the rebuilding of the world by snapping a photo of our favorite scientist, who started it all. Still on the hunt for oil, they use their newly built cameras to photograph the landscape in order to narrow down their search area, whilst Francois prepares a bordage for preservation on their voyage. Once they narrow down the location, Senku remembers that the oil fields were first discovered by chance thanks to a boar, so they use one to lead them to the location of the Sagara oil fields. They test their newfound oil in a motorboat, and once they reach far out to sea, Senku also has them test their DIY GPS using their land-based radio tower, though their signal is quickly intercepted, and they receive a strange message from the mystery saboteur. Why? Senku fails to goad this why man into fessing up any information, but they gather this much: whoever, or whatever it is likely behind the petrification beam 3,700 years ago. Senku then develops radar and sonar to kill two birds with one stone. 1. They now have a device ideal for massive fish hauls. And 2. They can pinpoint Y-Man's location when they get to South America, the source of the petrification beam. In order to make a radar big enough to be useful for the second goal, they need a lot of engines, and a lot of metal to build them. Resource King Chrome's knowledge leads him to an iron deposit, and in order to transport all their minerals, they pave a road for their car to easily transport them. The roadmap to the ship is now over halfway complete, but much manual labor is still required to put all the pieces together. As winter comes and goes, eventually, 1 year after they began, their new world mega yacht is complete, and Minami insists they take one last photo before the crew set out. So, with the Perseus complete, the team that will travel across the world must be chosen. The crew making the first voyage of the New World is Ryusui, Senku, Chrome, Kaseki, Yuzuriha, Ukyo, Francois, Nikki, Yo, Kohaku, Taiju, Magma, Kinro, Gen, with Hyoga and Homura as prisoners.
He's too dangerous to be left
Behind! He's too dangerous to be left behind. As the crew sets sail, their first— Wait, Genro wants to join too. Oh, no he doesn't, he just wants to pretend like he does so he looks cool. Well, he's aboard now, so. As the crew sets sail, their first stop is the island where the Soyuz spaceship landed 3,700 years ago after the petrification event, in order to get the platinum required to make unlimited revival fluid. Let me explain. Senku learned the 100 tales from Ruri, which were passed down from Byakuya's generation. In it, one of the stories mentions a treasure box with various minerals inside, including platinum, which Senku reasons must be the spaceship. One of the crew members overhears their conversation and comes forward about his past, stating that he is not from Ishigami Village, but washed up on shore as a baby, and his real name is Soyuz. Like the spaceship. This points to the likelihood that the treasure island is inhabited, and after a few hours at sea, they reach their destination. So, the recon team of Senku, Soyuz, Kohaku, and Gen set out on the island in search of the treasure box left behind by Byakuya and his fellow astronauts. Though soon after they land ashore, they are unable to contact their crewmates, and when they investigate, they find everybody on board petrified. Though the recon team's objective remains unchanged, and they follow a trail of seashells to one of the island's inhabitants, the lovely Amaryllis. They manage to get her on their side, as she is to be taken to the Master's palace tomorrow to become one of his brides. 5 years ago, Amaryllis and some friends attempted to leave the island, but were stopped by two of the Master's top henchmen, Moz and Kirisame, as the latter threw an object into the air, which petrified everyone but the young girl. After that day, she resolved to become the prettiest girl on the island, to make it into the Master's harem, and steal the petrification weapon. In order to do so, she will need a fighter on her side. Thus, the beautification of Kohaku begins. Though apparently Kohaku is so murked that they need an entire lab to fix her appearance. Okay, Kohaku is not murked. That's one of the only things in the show I cannot stand. They make her out to be some ugly gorilla. It's fucking stupid. Now let's get back to the summary. However, their mobile lab is back on the ship, which is surrounded by the Master's army. Then before Kohaku is almost caught by Kirisame, she sends a secret message to anyone left aboard the ship, and manages to trick the enemy into leaving.
The secret word was lab, since nobody on the island would know what that means.
As it turns out, Genro survived the petrification, and though on his own he may be utterly useless, Suika also happens to be hiding on the ship, as she snuck on when they departed Japan, and was kicked to safety by Ryusui before being petrified. Though Genro almost executes his special technique, he has a change of heart, and he and Suika coordinate to steal the mobile lab from the ship, which the islanders believe to be a beast.
You want to learn how to make something smell like shit? Watch this segment.
Once they escape into some hidden caves, they continue with Kohaku's makeover, and once that's completed, they use their leftover makeup to add another chick to the roster. So, the selection day arrives, and all three of our candidates get chosen, despite Genro trying his best to achieve the opposite. So, with the spy team in place, Senku creates an earpiece to relay information to Kohaku, with their mission being to steal the petrification device from Kirisame when she throws it. To do this, they will need a way to catch it mid-air, and so the science team begin their work on a drone, as well as a mini vehicle for Kohaku to send information back their way, considering the earpiece is a one-way communication device. With Kohaku having no writing knowledge, she sends a message of what she's found, and thanks to the mentalist's deciphering skills, they learn that she's found the treasure box. Unfortunately, the ship is preserved in concrete, so in order to break through without making too much noise, Senku creates a silent bomb. They deliver it to Kohaku with their mini rat vehicles, and thanks to a distraction from Amaryllis and Ginro, she is able to mix the ingredients required to make plaster. She returns at night, and the layers of concrete crumble at the touch. Then after she makes a little too much noise, the guards come to investigate, though she manages to escape with some gold dust before they spot her. She has the rat vehicle deliver the gold dust to Senku, and hidden within it, he finds multiple tiny specks of platinum, which took his father decades to gather from a river. With the key mineral acquired, he is now able to make the nitric acid required to revive everyone on Earth, starting with everyone on the Perseus. With the Ministry Ibarra now aware that there are intruders amongst them, the final battle over the petrification beam is about to begin. Thank you for watching. Dr. Stone Season 3 Part 2 will be out tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know what you thought of Part 1. That's it for me. I'll keep it short and sweet today. I love you all. Take it easy, and peace.